Hello and welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Hope you're having a great day so far. Today we are going to have a webinar packed with information and tips on how using marketing technology can help us be more productive in creating effective marketing campaigns. Let me first start with a little background on this new Marketing Corner webinars. Our goal at MindFire is to help our clients be more successful, and we try our best to bring useful products and services that help you and your team create marketing campaigns that deliver better results for your company and for your customers. And this Marketing Corner webinar series is where we want to share our own marketing campaigns and what we have learned using our platform and creating marketing campaigns on the best practices on digital marketing, and share them with you to see what we can learn from each other to create marketing campaigns with better results, be more productive, spend less time, and do more with less resources. Also, I'm sure there are many experts in the audience today that have a lot of experience and expertise that we all can benefit from. So another goal for Marketing Corner is to be a platform, to be a place for everyone to share their ideas, to share their best practices, their experiences with others, so we can all grow and succeed. And this is a model that we have learned from many successful user communities such as D-Scoop. Many of attendees today, I know they are a member of. And we hope that with your experience and your topics, we can have a more collaborative and a community that we can all share things and grow together. So if you have any topics that you would like to share with the rest of the group, and or if you have any specific questions about a certain topic that you would like to learn more about, we are going to share our contact information. Please feel free to send us an email. We have also created a group in LinkedIn that you can start a discussion, send posts, and let us know what areas would you like to learn more about or to present. For those of you who may not be familiar with MindFire, we are a software company. Our goal, as I said, is to provide technology and services that help print and marketing service providers create marketing campaigns for their customers. We have two platforms. One is called Lucas Clicking, which is being used by hundreds of agencies and marketing service providers across the globe and is focused mostly on the top of the funnel demand generation campaigns. Our other software, our other marketing communication platform is called MindFire Studio. And MindFire Studio is a platform that you can use to create personalized multi-channel marketing campaigns. With this platform, you can integrate channels like email, direct mail, SMS, and voice. You can create any type of marketing workflows with advanced personalization rules. You can also build and roll out a self-sufficient turnkey marketing solution for franchisees, for example, or for companies who have nationwide or global local operations, and each of those operations can individually easily repurpose that marketing solution and use it for themselves. And finally, you can also build applications for web portals, for storefronts, or for kiosks. I invite you to go to mindfirestudio.com and start a free trial. If you are not familiar, you can start experimenting and playing with the platform today. Now, let's see what we are going to cover today. I'm going to share 3 tips on how you can be more productive using Studio. I'm going to share examples of our own marketing campaigns. The first topic is how you can use templates to be more productive. And then I'll show you how to create a global unsubscription program. And finally, I will show you how you can use goals to segment your target audience for advanced segmentation. We'll also show you a sneak peek of the new dashboard and reporting views that's coming, being released actually tomorrow evening. And my colleague and friend Dave is going to show views on that with you today. About your presenters today, my name is Ramin Zamani. I head up marketing at MindFire. I've been creating marketing campaigns for well over a decade now. I've been both in the agency and corporate side, and I've been with MindFire close to 6 years now. This is my contact information. If you'd like to have a meeting, have a call, or if you have any questions, email me, or hit me up on Twitter. I'm happy to meet with you and get to know your business better. Joining me today is our very own Dave Rosendahl, co-founder of MindFire, who leads our product team. Hi, Dave.
Hey, Ramin, and good morning, good afternoon to everyone here. It's good to see you.
Thanks for joining us. As I said, Dave will give you an overview of the new dashboard today. Okay, now let's dive in. All right. Before I start, let me tell you that this webinar is being recorded, and we will send everyone an email with a link to the recording as well as a copy of the slides within 24 hours after the webinar. The first topic, as I said, is using templates. I will show you how we can use them to spend less time on the repetitive task and be more productive on our workflow. Many of us run and manage campaigns that are being used frequently. At MindFire, for example, we have a webinar like this one every 4 or 6 weeks, and I create marketing campaigns for the registration, for sending out emails, and signing up people for webinars. Many of you may have a monthly e-newsletter, or your customers may have, or they may have a lead generation campaign where people go and download an ebook or white paper that you can easily imagine can be used across different use cases. For these type of campaigns, it's much easier to create a template that you can easily repurpose and use instead of starting from scratch. Let's see how we can create one. For each use case, you will be creating a workflow for that particular use case, but what is common all those workflows is that you have to keep what's constant, all the elements that are going to be used across different campaigns, you keep those in your workflow. You abstract away what is going to change, and you put them in a content variable, and of course you save it as a template. You save the file as a template in your machine, and you can open it and repurpose it for the future campaigns. Here, today, I'm going to show you a template for, it's a generic template. It's not for a particular use case. In many of my campaigns, I send out emails, and those emails direct visitors or respondents to a landing page. So I have created a campaign that I call a master template. It's a generic, general purpose workflow that I start from there when I'm going to send out an email. I do have templates for my webinar or for my other use cases, but this one is pretty basic. I'm going to start and with that one and share that one with you. Now, this is the UI, the user interface of MindFire Studio. Again, just a quick 1 minute or maybe less overview for people who may not be a user already. When you log in, you will see this user interface. This is the canvas. This blank canvas is where you create your marketing workflow. To the left, you will see a toolbox that has different what we call elements, like direct mail, email. These can be the channels that you use to send your messages, as well as the inbound, which is the Microsite that you capture the responses, and also the target audience, which is the segment of your database, the list, if you will, that you target to send the messages to. the way you work, and of course on the top is the admin panel and things that you can do for saving or publishing or changing or collaboration and things of that nature. When you want to create a workflow, you simply drag and drop the elements into your canvas, connect them together to build your workflow, and you double click on each element to configure that particular element and build it out. This one, for example, is the master template that I want to share with you today. As you can see, I have a bunch of target audience elements in the top. These are the subgroups or segments of my database that I happen to send my messages quite frequently to. I have for our clients, for a couple for prospects, I have one for our own staff, I have one for my own testing purposes. And as I said, I have an email, because I do send emails quite frequently, and a basic microsite. I also have set up sub-triggers that sends notifications to our sales team or others, which you may or may not want to include, but it's a good idea to include in your master template. My suggestion is for everyone using a studio to create such a template, a generic template that you can reuse across all different use cases. It's a very handy template to have, because you can easily have a head start instead of starting from scratch. Here, for example, as you can see for my target audience, I have already set up series of filters, standard or behavioral filters for making that segment. So next time when I'm going to send the email to that specific group, I don't need to set up these again. You can do the same for your emails. I have a template for my email. And every time I want to send the email, again, I just go here and change the content. It's already using our branding. You can put your own branding if you're using the studio for your own marketing purposes, or you can have this template with just a placeholder for the branding and logos, and then easily just change the content, and it's ready to go. For my microsite also, I have a workflow. This is the typical workflow of my microsite. I have a personalized URL and a generic URL. I use the personalized URL in my emails or everywhere that I know who the intended recipient is, so that they don't have to fill the forms. It is being pre-populated with the information, and it's also personalized. And the generic page is what I use for when I share the link in my website or in a press release or with Twitter, social media. They both go to a thank you or to a confirmation page, and this one up there is an invisible page, if you will, that just decides which landing page to show based on the criteria that I have set. So the personalized URL ones come here, and the others come here. The generic one comes here. And this one is a template. This is a sample template of my pages. So this is a good idea to use a template for each page of your microsite. So again, you can just come here. What I do myself, for example, I just change I can edit, modify, or copy paste some code, or update the content, and I have a microsite ready to go.
Hey, Ramin, let me interject real quick. We're getting a couple of questions around how you create your HTML for these media that you're showing us, like for the email and the microsite. Can you just share for a moment how you go about doing that?
Sure. That's a great question, Dave. Thanks for bringing it up. You guys may know, last release a few weeks ago, we launched a new HTML rich text editor. Underneath your elements, if you let's go back. So if you double click on your page or your email elements, you will see a menu down there in the window that pops up. That there is a rich text editor as well as a template library. The library, our team here have put together a series of useful, mobile-friendly, ready-to-go templates for both emails and landing pages. So you just need to pick one of those. and they have different formats, like 2 columns, 1 column with images and headers and whatnot, and you can just use those as your starting point and start modifying it and create a customized version for you, and then save it as a template for your own use in this master template later on. All right, and feel free, guys, to submit your questions through the chat window in your control panel, and we will try to answer them all during the session today and towards the end of the session, the Q&A live, or after the webinar. We will follow up and make sure that all the questions are being answered. So back onto my master template, we reviewed the target audience, the email, the microsite. You can do the same for triggers. You may have other elements like voice or SMS. Whatever that you're frequently using, put it there. You can always delete them if you don't want them. And once you're happy with your workflow and you have configured the basic elements of each element in your campaign, just click here and click on Save, and make sure you save this as a template. If you don't save it as a template, you will not be able to use it again because the file will be encrypted for the security purposes. But if you save it as a template, you can easily go back and open it in a new instance and start modifying it for that particular use case. All right, so to recap, it's a good idea to create a master program template. And in order to do so, you include all the frequently used elements like target audience, email, microsite, pages, triggers, notifications, and other elements. And once done, you save the program file as a template into your machine, somewhere that you can find out later on. So this covers the first item on the first tip on my list. If, again, there are any questions, I have several other examples that I can show you. We decided that this first web marketing webinar session should be relatively broad topics. The items that we have picked, as you can see, these are applicable across all programs. You have on most likely than not, you have on subscription, you can use template, and you want to use goals in all your programs. But if you want to go deeper in each of these, there is an exit survey question towards the end. Please let us know which one you want to learn more about. We are more than happy to share in a different session or one-to-one more details on how to go about creating these things, or you taking advantage of these tips for yourself. All right, now on to the next topic. Let's see how we can create a global subscription or unsubscription program to keep our data clean. Before that, again, I want to highlight how important it is to make sure that you keep your database clean in the Studio. The normal workflow is you usually have a CSV file, either from your own database or your customers share with you, and you make sure that CSV file is clean, meaning that there is no duplicate records there. All the fields that you want to use in your campaigns are already included. And once you're happy with it, you will import it into MindFire Studio. It's a fairly easy process. But after that, this data still needs to be managed, because people will be added, or the information for each contact will be updated by campaign forms or emails. Or if you have integrated your MindFire Studio database with a CRM system like Salesforce, in our case we have, then you also want to make sure that the data coming from Salesforce into your MindFire Studio database is also controlled and managed, because sales team or other people in your team may add, or in your clients may add data in the field that gets pushed to your Studio instance. Again, the topic of integration probably needs another session on its own. It's a very important use case, and we would love to share more about that. But here, I'm going to focus on just one aspect of managing the data, which is a very common one, managing email on subscription. One way to do this is using the system's unsubscribe link. If you go to the variables in your email, you open an email, you click on the variables to the right, you see this system variables box. You click on unsubscribe, and you have it. You just it will copy the link to your clipboard, and then you just paste it into your email. Using the system variable unsubscribe is very easy. You can easily add it, and then everyone who clicks on that will be automatically removed from your database. They will no longer receive any type of messages, any type of emails from you. But it also has some disadvantages because you don't have much control. So on the plus side, it is very easy to use. Everybody will be automatically removed, as I said. On the negative side, if you want to resubscribe that person, that individual back into your database, it's not as easy. Or if you want, for example, to have finer control over the process, you cannot do that way. It's a very easy way to just manage this unsubscribe, but you don't have much control over it. To address this, what I do for our own campaign is creating a global unsubscription program or subscription program, because you can also use this for adding a new contact to your studio database. And I'm going to show you both. What I'm going to show you first is the front end, what you as a user who is going to subscribe or unsubscribe would experience, and then I will show you under the hood, behind the scene, what happens in a studio to create this campaign. So let's first start with adding a contact. So what I have done, I have created a microsite. You can actually visit, this is a live microsite at mindfirestudio.net/subscription. It is very common. I at MindFire often get asked to add someone to our database because, let's say, for example, we sign up a new client, or our client has a new employee. They want to make sure that they receive our emails, invitations, and other messages. So one way to do is for me to log into Studio and manually add that contact to my database, which is pretty straightforward, just 2-3 steps and you're done. But to make it even easier and to make it also accessible for other people to do so, this microsite, I have created this microsite that writes data into database, and you can add any fields that you want, and you can share this with your team so that they can add people here. If you or someone in your team adds a contact information here and select yes, I would like to receive emails, and hit submit, they will be added. In this case, John Sample was added, and this is the confirmation. Similarly, you can use the same method to unsubscribe a contact. The difference is when you want to unsubscribe the contact, that contact obviously already exists in your database. So you would use a Perl. Here I have just a demo URL. To create a demo, to create the real URL for your case, you will use the variable for Perl, #Perl, and then you will have your own domain name, and if you would like to use a subdirectory, your own subdirectory. And this link can now be used at the bottom of your email as your unsubscribe link. So when people click on that, each person, because you're sending it through your database, will receive their own individual personalized link. So when they land there, they will see this page with their own email address here. And if they choose to unsubscribe, they select no, and of course they will be removed. Now, the good thing with this approach is if you want to add them back, you just click on the edit, and now you can select yes, and they're subscribed back again. So adding and removing is fairly easy.
Ramin, we're getting a lot of cool questions that are coming in, and one that was related to that I think might be helpful for others. Basically, the question is, what if you want to allow people to select the type of content that they would like to receive? Like in our case, maybe they only want to receive webinar updates, others only want to get product information. How would you go about doing that here?
Excellent question. Great. So that's a very good question, and it's a very common use case again. So So let me go back a little bit on this page. So here,
sure.
when you are creating the microsite, if you have different channels or different programs that you want to make it available for people to opt in to that particular channel as opposed to all emails, you can add, again, another form control here, a checkbox or something, a drop-down, that people can use to select which particular channel or program they want to subscribe to. So as you mentioned, Dave, if someone wants to receive our webinar updates, but they're not interested in our monthly e-newsletter or vice versa or whatever, they can select which one they want to use. And I will show you again on the back end how you can manage that subscription and or unsubscription as well. But that's very easy to do. That's a very good question. So let me go back and take a look at the this program in Studio. So this is the workflow. And I have, as you see, I have an inbound, a microsite, and I have a couple of triggers. The triggers, in my case, all they do is update my Salesforce CRM. So if you're not integrated with Salesforce or any other CRMs, you don't need those. I mean, this is just optional. All you need is just the microsite. So let me show you the microsite itself. Similar to what I showed you earlier, the same workflow, a personalized and a generic page with a confirmation page and a page that is basically just a redirect. On my personalized, I have my unsubscribe. On my other one, I have my subscription. And that's the microsite that you just saw. Now, how does this microsite actually unsubscribes or subscribes people? It's just a simple microsite, right? So for that to actually work, you first need to add a custom field to your database. In my case, I have this weird name, SF app has opted out of email, which is the name that Salesforce uses for managing unsubscription. And since I'm connected, I use the same, I map the same field to be consistent across two databases. But you can choose whatever you want if you're not connected to Salesforce. You can use remove or unsubscribe or exclude or what have you. And when you have created this, in your email, in your microsite, you make sure that the radio button that people choose yes or no is writing to that custom field. So you put the name of that particular custom field here, and this way when they select no, the value gets assigned to that custom field that you can use later on as a filter in your marketing campaigns to exclude those people. So here, for example, I have this in all my target audience elements. I always set my opt-out field not equal to 1, meaning that person that in the segment is opted in, has not unsubscribed. So they're in the database. They want to receive our messages. So I hope it makes sense. I hope it helps you to also create a more controlled over your subscription process. There are other ways you can do this, and I mean, there are different ways that you can achieve the same goal. This is just one way that I happen to use. If you have a different way or a better way, again, we'd love to hear you and share this with others. Just send us a note. So just to recap again, we created a custom field first, for example, remove. Then we create a program with a form, the microsite that has a form to add or unsubscribe contacts. And then we use that custom field to exclude unsubscribers from our target audience element. On the emails, we used #, dot your domain name / your subdirectory for the unsubscribe link, which is definitely required. All right, so now we are done with the second item, and I'm going to just jump in right to the last one, goals. So goals, we all know that we can, of course, use goals to measure the performance of our campaigns. That's what goals are used for. But in addition to that, you can also use goals to segment tools, and I'm going to show you how I do it at MindFire, which is a powerful way to narrow down your segment, your target audience, and and personalize your messages even further. For measuring success, you can set goals to answer to questions like how many people have registered to our webinar. Actually, later in this webinar, Dave is going to show you the real webinar campaign that I used for this Marketing Corner webinar to invite you guys to register to this webinar, and you will see how I used goals there. Or you can answer questions, other questions. How many people downloaded the ebook or read your blog or whatever that is important in your particular case. You can also do some undesired ones. Maybe you want to also track how many people have unsubscribed, or again, something that you didn't want to happen. Again, you can measure those. So both the desired and undesired events can be measured using goals. To create goals, you just need to go to your configuration tab in your account, and I'm going to show you some screenshots here. You assign the goal to your key events. I'm calling them conversion events, whatever that is interesting for your campaign to measure. And then you use that goal in the behavioral filter to segment your target audience. So let's see how it's done. This is the configuration tab. Goals can be used across all programs. So it is at the account level that you set them up. Then you click on the configuration, then you click on the goals, and then you click on this nice little add button. And to create a goal, all you need to do is to just give it a name. My suggestion, my recommendation to our clients is always to have a structured way, a certain format of naming your goals. Here, for example, as you can see, I use the date of the webinar for identifying each individual webinar. This way, you or other members of your team who are working in your campaigns can easily understand what it is, and you will be consistent. You can also add a little description to remind yourself or others what that goal is used for. Now, in order to use the goal, this is the microsite of my Marketing Corner webinar. So how I assigned the goal to this campaign. In my registration page, I select the event. I double click on my registration page. I select the event. This is the event that I'm interested. If someone submits the page, meaning that they have registered, I assign them date of the webinar registered to this webinar, which is the webinar today. This way, later on in the dashboard, I can easily track them and see how many people have registered to the webinar. Now, not only I can see the numbers, I can also use this goal now or any other goal that I have either within one single program or across all my other programs to further segment my target. For example, within a program, we can send a thank you email to those who have RSVP'd to a certain event. Or if you want to, what I frequently use across programs is excluding someone who has already requested a demo. So I'm not sending an invitation to see a demo again to a person who has already requested the demo. So it's a very straightforward definition for all marketers. It's a fundamental basic filter of standard versus behavioral. So standard, we know it's you can segment your target based on their title, the demographics or firmographics if you're B2B, their industry, their geography, their revenue, their employee size, and other elements like this. These are all standard demographic filters. But with goals, now you can filter based on what they do, how they interact with your campaigns. Have they downloaded your ebook? Have they, as I said, requested the demo, visited your website, or attended the webinar? And in order to implement this concept in your campaign, you go to your target audience elements or triggers. You have a standard filter and behavioral filter. A standard filter is what you have already used. You click on the behavioral filter. You add a new one. You can have different versions of this type of filter. Here we are just showing you the goal, which is I believe, a very powerful one. I use it quite frequently myself. And you select the goal. You give it a date range in which you want that goal to be to have happened. Now here is where you select if you want to just focus on this particular campaign, this current campaign or the program, or you want to measure it across all programs. I'm going to use the requested demo, so I'm going to select any program, any campaign, and then I pick the goal that I'm going to measure, and I set the criteria in my last step. So for example, if I want to exclude people who have already requested demo, I say the goal of requested demo is less than 1. So I make sure that no one has requested demo. When I assign this, I have now a rule in my target audience that will go and exclude everyone who has already achieved that particular goal. All right, there is a lot more that we can share about goals and scores. And I know through the registration process, many people ask for it, so we probably will have another session to go deeper in this. But basically, in the most simple form, you create the goals in 3 easy steps. You set it in your account's global configurations. You then assign that goal into your key interesting event, the conversion event, and then you use it in your behavior filter to segment your target audience. All right, now I have covered all the 3 tips. I hope you find these tips helpful for your campaigns. And again, I invite you to collaborate and join us in the LinkedIn group. We will share towards the end of the session. And I would like now to ask Dave, can you please show us what's coming up in the new dashboard?
Absolutely, Ramin. Ramin, would you just confirm that you can see my screen and my little mouse moving around there?
Yes, I do.
Awesome. So I was just chatting with Jeff and a number of other people. We've had some really cool conversations there through chat. Thank you, everybody, for spending time with us today. I know it's a few days before the 4th of July holiday, at least here in the U.S., so we're honored that you would spend time with us. I'm going to try to answer as many questions that came in through chat in the next 10 minutes or so with respect to the reporting here. But as Ramin mentioned, we're going to hang around afterwards to take even more questions. So let's get started. Ramin, you've shared with us a number of ways that you, as a marketer, manage these marketing programs and execute them. And folks, what we're going to show you now is how Ramin, once he publishes these programs, how he gets insight into how things are shaping up so that he can improve things, gain insights, provide reports to others here at MindFire who are interested, etc. And he does that through the views that MindFire provides for reporting and analytics in the dashboard that I'm about to show you now. I'm going to give you a tour of that. As Ramin mentioned at the start, if you didn't catch this, all of the views that you're about to see are rolling out to all MindFire users tomorrow evening. But there are a number of you, maybe some of you who are here with us today that have already been using this for some time now, maybe a month, month and a half or so. So I'm only going to scratch the surface today. If you want to find out more, send us in questions through the chat, call us, email us, whatever is convenient for you. Also, be on the lookout for another webinar invite. We're going to send you, I think, Ramin, in maybe 2 or 3 weeks. For folks who are interested in going into more detail here, we're going to have another webinar focused just on this, where we will go into a lot more detail. So with that kind of backdrop, let's jump right in. Ramin, can you confirm we went to the next slide there? Just want to make sure everyone's seeing my screen.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Perfect. So we're going to explore the dashboard from Ramin's perspective as he manages the execution of a marketing program here within MindFire. So I'm actually going to use the program that brought you to the webinar here today, since you have some context for that. And I'm going to go behind the scenes into the reporting and show you what's possible so you can get some idea of what you can do for yourself or for your customers if you're doing this on behalf of a customer. So folks, turn your attention to the screen. I can actually see how many of you are looking at your screen right now. And I'm watching that number go up. I want you to look at the screen because this is the first screen here that Ramin sees when he logs into his dashboard. And it's a view that gives him a sense for how his marketing is performing across all of his programs, all of the marketing programs that he's running. And there's a couple of areas I want to draw your attention to. First, here on the left, you have an at-a-glance view of some KPIs, key performance metrics, that measure for Ramin how things are progressing today across all of his programs. So it gives him a sense for overall performance here on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, what you see are the programs that he's running, the specific programs he's running. Now, what I've done already here is filter down to just webinars and showing just the last couple of webinars that Ramin has run. Now, as I said, we're going to focus just on this webinar here, the Marketing Corner webinar. And to put what we're about to see into context, I want to show you real quick here on the screen the marketing workflow that is behind the reports that we're viewing. So if you look at the screen, this is the marketing workflow that Ramin has put together for this webinar. You can see it's got a series of emails, it's got some microsites in it, target audience elements, etc. If you're in the MindFire family, this is probably pretty familiar to you. If you're taking a look at MindFire for the first time, some of the stuff might look new, but basically this is a visual representation of the experience that you went through to get here today. So the next view I'm going to show you is a view that just articulates this program, this one that we're looking here on the screen at. It's just that program stats. So in other words, it's showing just for the Marketing Corner webinar, its key metrics, similar to what we saw a moment ago. And here on the right-hand side, a view for Ramin of how his media channels are performing. So if you remember the little description that Ramin gave you of MindFire at the beginning, we're all about enabling you and your customers to communicate with your customers and prospects in any channel, across channels, and to automate that. And so in this particular example here, Ramin has chosen to use two channels. One is the email channel, and the other is the microsite. The microsite is where most of you went to sign up for the session that you're at today. So that's what you see here on this page. Now, what I want to do is show you a little bit more. Let's dive one step deeper and look at one specific element in the workflow. So again, this is the workflow that you all participated in. And here are a bunch of emails. Ramin, it looks like you sent 3 emails, and you've got one more that's still yet to go. Is that right?
Yeah, that's the follow-up email that goes 24 hours after the webinar with the link to the recording.
A link to the recording, and also can we include a link to the slides? People have been asking about that as well.
Yep, the slides
right.
and recording, both.
Awesome. So here are the emails, and as you can imagine, Ramin wants to gain a sense for how well those emails are performing. So here's a view that allows him to see the performance of those messages head-to-head. So you can see them on the screen now with common metrics like opens, clicks, marked as spam, how many people soft bounce, so on and so forth, all of the common metrics for emails for each of the messages that he has sent out. Now, let's say he wants to learn more about just this invitational email. Some of you might say, hey, you know what, this view is enough, this gives me everything I need. Others of us, we like to get into the weeds and into the details, and so you might want to go one step further here in this invitational email, which is the first one here in the sequence. You can see I'm moving my mouse over it, and this is a preview of it over here on the right-hand side. This is probably what you remember seeing when you signed up for this webinar. Let's say we want to learn more about that specific email. We can go one step further and drill down to that specific email. So this is answering the question here, how is a particular email doing in terms of its interaction with your customers, your prospects? So let me orient you to what you're seeing here. On the left-hand side, some quick stats, things that are helpful to you as the marketer or as the campaign manager to understand how this email is performing, how folks are interacting with it. Here in the body of the page, you're looking at the links that you've embedded in that email. Here, Ramin's embedded a couple of links. He can see how many people have clicked on those links, how many total times they've clicked. And you remember Ramin talked about goals. And so he has set up a couple of goals for this email, and you can see how many times those goals have been achieved and the equivalent conversion rate for each of those goals. Now, everybody who's here, I would imagine all of you, unless someone did this for you, all of you visited this microsite here that I'm moving my mouse over to sign up for the session today. Right? So when you signed up, you went through a microsite workflow that looks like this. Ramin had a snapshot of something similar to this a few minutes ago. This is the Microsite's workflow showing you all the pages that are inside of it. Here's a snapshot of or a preview of one of those pages, specifically this t.html. So what I want to show you now is what it looks like to measure the performance for that microsite. So on the left, some quick stats for that microsite, again, to help you as the campaign manager, as the marketing manager, or Jeff, like the question you asked a moment ago, can you share this with your customer without giving them access to the studio? You absolutely can. You can share this type of information with them, and they can go through here. You can train them on how to find what they're looking for. It's relatively straightforward, but you can give them access and just limit them to seeing the reporting information. So hopefully I answered your question there. On the left-hand side, then, you've got those quick summary stats. In the body of the page, you can see information about the pages that are in your microsite, how many page views you've received on those pages, lots of other good details here. In addition, if you have links on that microsite, things that you're linking to, you can measure how many people are clicking on those links and how many times they've clicked those links. The other thing you can do here, similar to what you're doing in the email, is set a conversion point or assign a number of conversion points. And those are the goals here that Ramin's got. One is registering for the webinar, and the other is to request a demo. And again, you can see the conversion rate for both of those there. Now, the other thing you may want to do, some of us have data capture forms where these pages that we have on our microsites are asking contacts to provide information. So in any of a page or microsite that has that kind of ability, you're able to drill down to that specific page or a set of pages and see how folks are providing data, how they're providing responses to those forms. So this is an example of one of Ramin's pages, and it shows you the form fields that are on that page, how many people have submitted information to that question, and you'll notice, and you've probably seen this throughout the presentation today, that some of these numbers look like they're clickable. And in fact, they are. So for example, if we wanted to see who these 40 people are here, you can click on that link and get to a specific listing of who those individuals are. In this case, who are the folks that want to see a demo. Now, what I've done is I've blurred out the names of the innocent here to protect them. These are real people here. And Ramin's a real person too, but I left him in just to illustrate the point here. So you're able to see, for example, all of the standard contact information for Ramin. For some reason, we don't have Ramin's phone number, so we should probably make it a point to capture that next time we interact with him. And we also have a column here for the lifetime score. Now, scoring is something that I think Ramin may have just briefly touched upon as we were going through the material today. So in case you're unfamiliar with that, let me give you a quick example of how Ramin uses it, and then you can start to think about how you might be able to apply it for yourself. So going back to this workflow here, again, this is the workflow for today's webinar. All of the channels here, so the emails, the microsite, the text messages, whatever media you are using from your toolbox here, for anything that you use to interact with your customers or prospects, you can assign a score to certain behaviors that contacts exhibit when they bump into those things. So as an example, what Ramin has done is he says, all right, in this invitation email, if somebody opens that email, I want to increment their score by 5. So what Ramin has done is over time, as he's been interacting with these folks, they have been accruing a score, which gives us and our sales team and our marketing team the ability to then rank these individuals in terms of the interest that they've expressed as they've interacted with these programs. So that's what you see here in this column here. This is the total score for that contact across all of their interactions with us over time. Now, again, if you're like me, and I know there are others of you out there that are interested in getting into the details, one very valuable view here is the ability to click down and learn even more about Ramin. So we can go one step further and say, all right, this guy's got a score of over 3,000. This guy's incredible. Let's click on him and see what else we can learn about him. So what you see on the screen now is everything that we know about Ramin. So everything he's done across any campaign, any program that we've ever run is made available here for you, for your sales team or your customer sales team, for your customer to go in and discover more about Ramin and his needs and wants. So we're not going to go into detail here. Again, if you want to find out more about this, join us at the next webinar. But you can see Ramin's total score He's given a grade. You can see his contact information. Here on the right-hand side of the screen, you're able to see what we call an activity stream here for everything that Ramin has done, showing you visually kind of how he's interacted with you over time. So very valuable view. We'll get into more of that when we get to the next webinar. So that brings me to the end of what I wanted to share with you today. I know it's kind of a quick tour of the reporting. Ramin, I think you're going to take the controls back here. And as you do that, I just want to remind everybody for a moment that we want to take all of your questions here. So stick with us if you still have questions about what I've just shown you, if you have questions about what Ramin has put up. There were a lot of questions that came in during Ramin's portion that Mackenzie and I answered while you were talking there, Ramin. There were a couple about the templates in the HTML editor. Folks, hopefully we answered your questions there. I saw some questions about reporting, like can we give access to our customers just to the reporting? Again, hopefully I answered your question there as we went through here. But let's open it up for questions. Ramin, what are you seeing there that we should take on the air?
Yeah, sure. So one question about the unsubscription was, if you have multiple sub-accounts and you want to use the subscription or unsubscription program similar to what I just showed earlier today, can you have one single program that manages subscriptions to all sub-accounts? And the answer to that is each sub-account has its own isolated database. So, and it is intentional by design because you want to make sure that the data is safe and secure. So the best way to go about this is to create a template or a program for each sub-account separately. This way you will be able to manage each sub-account on its own. Dave, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, is that Alex's question that you're referring to? Sorry, I know we're hopefully just using people's first name to protect them, but
yeah.
Was that Alex?
I believe
you don't
so.
remember?
See.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Alex,
yes.
If that was your question, I'd be interested in knowing more about what you're trying to do and why they're in multiple sub-accounts. Ramin's answer is correct, but let's chat and make sure that we understand what you're trying to do and see if there's maybe some way we can help you. But thanks for that question, Alex. I love the deepness of that question. Ramin, should we just start hitting them from the top here?
Okay, let's go.
So there are a couple that say, let's see, how can I sign up to learn about upcoming MindFire webinars? So Ramin, what's the best way for them to do that?
Everybody who is already in this webinar will receive an invitation for the future sessions. And as I said, we do have an exit survey. There is one question there that I've asked what topics you are interested in learning more about. So please, we want to make sure that the content that we provide is something that you want and you need. So let us know, and you will definitely receive the recording as well. Another way I have on my screen, I don't know if can you see my screen?
Yeah, I see it.
So this another way to interact is this Marketing Corner LinkedIn group. You see the URL there, short URL. Just go there and become a member. It's an open group for everyone, and that way you can also collaborate, start a discussion, ask a question, and we'll follow up.
So there's a question from Frank saying, without adding any cost, can we use two different pearls within a campaign so we can track responses from direct mail and email? Ramin, you want to handle that one?
Yeah, so you actually don't need two different pearls to do that. You can easily, when you create, let me again one step back, how I handle this. For my tracking my pearls, what I do is I create a custom field, let's say for my email, and I call it email 1. And I use that custom variable. I use that custom variable in email 1, and then I will create a different one for my other email. I use the one that doesn't have any additional subdirectory or any additional names for my postcards, because I want the Perl printed on the postcard to be nice looking, nicely formatted, and shortest one. But in the email, you're embedding the purl into an A tag, so you actually don't show the email link itself, so you can use custom variables to do that. Again, this is probably a little bit more technical question, and I can show you maybe online in a different session how I handle that, or maybe in a future marketing corner webinar.
That's cool. So Frank, if you want to know more, just drop us a line here in the chat, and Ramin will follow up, and we'll get one-on-one with you on that to help you understand how to do that. Ramin, I see another one from Eileen. Eileen, thanks for chatting with me during the session too. She's saying, is there a way, and I think she's referring to your campaigns, Ramin, so that she can do this for herself, but is there a way to set up a calendar where clients can see what appointments are available and sign up for a time slot to see a presentation?
So this is not something that you can this is something that you can actually do within a Microsite. So let me just put it into two different buckets. One is that we have a program calendar within a studio where you as a user can see what type of campaigns or which channels, which schedules you are running. So that's for you as a user. The question is about someone who is coming to your campaign and they want to sign up for an event and they want to pick a date. For that to happen, you can just use a date picker and then write that date picker value into a custom field in your database. Which may require a little bit of knowledge for JavaScript, but it definitely can be done.
That's fantastic. Now, Mackenzie is also here with us, and she's been taking a lot of questions. Mackenzie, you say there's a common question that's coming up that you want us to take care of?
Yes. Hi, everyone. So what I'm noticing is that a lot of people have questions about the upcoming release that you just showed a preview of. So a lot of people want to know if they can share that data with clients, and then again, if they can white label that so that only their clients see the reports, for example, that they want to share with them.
Yes, I think there's
and also, sorry to interrupt, but also on how you share that too.
Okay, sure. Yeah, so a couple questions there. I'll try to hit them all, Mackenzie. Let me know if I miss one. So sharing is available from within the interface. For me, I don't know if you can back up and show that and just if you can go back for a second there. But once you're logged in, there you go. So hover over the little gear there. Yeah, so in that icon there, you're able to share this report with a colleague, with a friend, with your customer, and it provides them a link to view this report, and they can interact with it to a limited degree. They can't do everything you can, but you can give them access to view that information. So yes, that's possible. In terms of white labeling, I heard you mention that as well, Mackenzie, co-branding the interface. Ramin, can you move your mouse over the MindFire Studio icon for a moment? Yeah. So up there in the upper left-hand corner, folks, soon we will be rolling out for you the ability to replace that and change the logo with something of your choice, because the intention is to be able to make this something that you can put your logo on and present as your company's interface for customers to view data. And then, Mackenzie, was there a third question? Maybe you're on mute, Mackenzie.
No, basically people were just interested in knowing, what they can share and if they can share only specific portions. So, for example, let's say they want to share data that came out from one specific microsite or one specific, element in their campaign.
Sure. So, yeah, from a sharing perspective, you can control what you're sharing with the customer. Ramin, here's a question for you from Luke. I think this is probably appropriate given that this is a webinar today. He wants to know, how did you integrate GoToWebinar registration with your landing page?
Great question. So again, there are different ways that you can accomplish this task, but what I did is that I have in my workflow, I don't know if you have a screenshot of the workflow of it's hidden here, but next to my other pages, you cannot see it here, but I have another page here called gotowebinar.html, which basically is a form with hidden inputs that writes data into GoToWebinar. On my thank you page, I have a little JavaScript code that embeds the iframe and carries over the data captured in the registration page to the thank you page, and then behind the scene submits this form. It's a little, again, it's an easy trick if you know a little bit of JavaScript, and I mean, I can share this mammal with you, look, and we can go over that in a one-to-one session as well.
Ramin, you want to flash your contact info on the screen just so people know how to get a hold of you? There's still a bunch of questions, so folks, thanks for hanging out with us. We're going to try to get to as many as we can. If we don't, we will follow up with you for sure. Let's see. Gosh, I'll try to hit as many of these as I can. So Frank just sent one in. Is there any sort of generic CRM platform MindFire can host in the cloud for clients who do not have one? Frank, that's a fantastic question. It's something we talk a lot about. We do have a couple of options that a few customers have explored and that they use at present to, I think, address the use case that you're describing. We'd probably need to get into the details, so if you want to drop me a line or Ramin, we'd love to talk to you more about that and see if the things that we've done in the past would help you as well. Thanks, Frank, for that question. Joris, I see a great couple of questions here from you, wanting to know in reporting, can visit data be reset? I know a seed can be excluded, but how can we exclude guest page visits during setup or testing? Would love some IP filtering or something like that. Great suggestion. Mackenzie, if you don't mind, would you shoot in to the chat Michael's email address, maybe to Joris directly? That's Joris. And Joris, the reason I'm sending that to you is because Michael is the one that's cataloging all of the reporting enhancements that we're doing for the next round, and that would be something that we would love to take into consideration. So there may be something we can do in the short term, but if not, I know you're a wealth of ideas, so we'll definitely be picking your brain for more there. That sounds great. Let's see. Dave Ledger is also asking about the CRM platforms. Dave, are you asking which platforms we've integrated with, or do you want to know more about the kind of the generic light solution that we might be able to host in the cloud? Just let us know which one you're looking for, and we'd be happy to talk about that. Ramin, here's a topic for you. Are you going to host a webinar to understand how to integrate Salesforce with MindFire?
Yeah, absolutely. As I said, if there is any topic, in the exit survey, just make sure that you mention it there. And what I'm going to do is to review all the answers and plan accordingly. Integration with Salesforce, I believe, is definitely worth having a webinar on its own, because I think it's very important and is very helpful for making sure that the sales and marketing teams are aligned either within your organization or for your customers. So definitely yes.
I saw a couple questions, Ramin, come in around APIs, like what can you do through the API? What does the API enable us to do? And I'm going to tie that to this question, Jeff, you just asked about how do you integrate with other CRMs? Is it via XML? So everything that Ramin showed you in the studio, everything that I had up on the screen in reporting, all of that is available through our APIs. So in other words, the studio that you use, as you use it to build campaigns and manage them as you're running them for yourself or for your customer, that uses all of our APIs, and we make those same APIs available to you. So anything the studio can do, and more for that matter, you can do through the APIs programmatically. So there's a number of different ways that integration with a CRM could happen. Depends on the use case, Jeff. Is it by XML? You can pass XML back and forth, but we'd really have to get into the details of the integration you want to do. But my guess is it would be through the API most likely that integration would happen. So Jeff, if you want to talk more about that, if you've got some CRM that you're thinking of specifically, let us know. We'd love to talk about that. Mackenzie, a lot of people love to hear your voice, so maybe you need to speak instead of me here. Thanks, guys, for the compliment to Mackenzie and the put down to Dave.
Dave, I just want to
also I just wanted to make
Go ahead, Mackenzie.
Sorry. Thank you. I just wanted to make one comment. A lot of people have questions kind of about reporting, and I wanted to remind everyone that Kushal Data sends out an email with the new features that are going to be released. So the upcoming release is going to be Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific, but stay tuned and look out for emails from him. I know he sent the last one on June 27th. And in that email is a detailed explanation of all the new things that we've been working really hard to bring you guys and all of the details. So look out for emails from him so you can see exactly what's offered to you and all the latest releases.
Hey, Mackenzie, I got kudos on my voice now, too, so now we're tied for kudos there.
Perfect.
Thank you, Jeff. That means a lot to me. Ramin, Sasha wants to know, would it be possible to walk me through the unsubscribe program as well? So, Ramin, what are you going to do to follow up on all these? You want people to email you, or you want to just...
Yeah, just send me an email, and I will go for the questions that have been submitted through the chat window. I will definitely go through each and every one to make sure that we have either responded during the session, or I will follow up individually with the response, and we'll take care of it. One thing that I wanted to also announced here is that we also have a 2-day classroom training later in August 27th and 28th here in Irvine. So if everyone is interested in signing up, it's a paid full hands-on workshop style training that you will become a master in using MindFire Studio, and we get a certification from MindFire as well. Go to mindfiretraining.com if you're interested and sign up there.
Yeah, a question from Tim about advanced user training. So Tim, what do you think you would want to know through advanced training? If you can just shoot that into us, or maybe we can talk later about what you're interested in, but we certainly do have other training sessions available, as I think you know, so we'd love to talk to you more about that. I'm going to direct the next one to you, Ramin. It's from Alex. Alex is saying, you mentioned measuring those who downloaded an ebook. How can we create a place for people to download items such as an ebook, a coupon, etc., that can be tracked? Is this an app, or is it just some type of JavaScript that needs to be added to our code? Ramin, how would you go about doing that?
Okay, so again, the way I handle this, I upload the content I used to use Dropbox initially, but now we have an S3 account with Amazon. It's fairly inexpensive, it's very reliable, and I definitely recommend it. You can upload your content to that server, and it gives you a link that you can embed in your microsite, right? And then that link can be tracked within your studio. So you can even assign a score for someone who clicks on that link to download. So you don't need apps, you don't need even JavaScript. You just need to have the content hosted somewhere, and then use the link to that content in your microsite and track it.
A question about the training from Monique. Monique, you're asking, would the 2-day training course be good for someone just getting started with MindFire and have had no previous experience? Monique, let me ask you a question. Are you saying you've had no experience with MindFire, or no experience with marketing automation or web, email, that sort of thing? If you can just clarify, I'll be able to give you a better answer there. So I'll come back to your question in just a moment once you send us in some more details. Let's see. Mackenzie, help us out here. If we've missed anything that we need to take on the air, or Ramin, anything else that you see? Let's wait for Monique.
No.
We got the training, the ebook. Dave had a suggestion. That's great. Oh, do we get Pablo's question here? Pablo says, are we going to be able to see custom field performance responses? So I assume you're asking if you can see how a contact has provided answers or data to a custom field. Ramin, if you don't mind, go back to the, yeah, awesome, you're already on it. Go back to the contact profile page just for a moment. Pablo, I don't know if you're still here. I can't tell that. Hopefully you are. But from this view, there's a couple places where you can see that. First off, let me just say that. But from this view here, Pablo, if you remember, no, Ramin, go back to.
Yeah.
You're getting
this one, right?
Click happy. Yeah. From here on the left-hand side, you'll see there's a couple of options. Ramin right now or the view here that we're looking at is just his standard data, but the little head with the plus sign next to it is where you can see all of the custom fields that contain those custom fields you've created, as well as the responses to those fields if, in this case, Ramin had provided them. So Pablo, let me know if we got your question there. So let's see.
I see a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Mackenzie.
So yours asks, can you reset the page /email/form visits before actually launching the campaign, but after publishing and testing? Or can you filter out seeds or IP addresses?
Yeah, so you can filter out the seeds, and I think I kind of answered this one by saying let's have him talk to Michael about that, because that might be something, if I understand his question correctly, that might be something that we need to prioritize for an upcoming set of revisions. So if he's still here, did you send him Michael's information?
Yeah, sending Michael's information.
Perfect. So Monique is asking, just getting started with marketing automation. Our organization is currently using Pearls, but need more on the automation process. Okay, so Monique, yeah, this 2-day training course, Ramin, if you can throw that back up on the screen for just a moment. Monique, from what you've described, it does sound like a good fit for you or for your team. That is going to be roughly a month and a half from now, so there's plenty of time to talk to us in advance of that to see if it's a good fit, but it sounds like it would be. Let's see, Mackenzie, if you don't mind, can you send Monique Adrian's email address, and we can also make a note to follow up with you, Monique, to talk to you more about that. We'd be happy to talk to you. Let's see. Yes, Michael Dunahee. Yes, correct, yours. That's Michael Dunahee. You're welcome, Monique. Let's see. Ramin, have we missed any? There's still things coming in.
Yeah. I think we covered.
Oh, yeah, good suggestion from Mo saying, Monique, we can also send you the syllabus or table of contents for the training, and you can scan through that and see if those things catch your eye. So maybe that'll help make the decision as well. So, Ramin, do you have anything else you want to cover here?
No, just for attendees today that are not a MindFire user, I have put 2 links up there. You can, as I said, you can start experimenting, trying MindFire for free right now. Just go to mindfirestudio.com/free sign up, and if you have any suggestions or if you want to have a one-to-one meeting, just go to our contact us page, mindfirestudio.com/contact, and we are happy to sit with you and get to know the specific needs of your business and come up with a solution to see if MindFire Studio is a good fit for your case.
I just got another idea here from Doug. Doug, fantastic suggestion. He says he'd love to see the training syllabus as well. So Ramin, can we include a link to the training site or to the syllabus in the follow-up email?
I will add a note, yeah.
Because now we've got others asking for it as well. Jeff is asking, Doug has asked. So.
Yes, absolutely.
You're welcome, Doug. Sasha, yes, the webinar is going to be available. So Ramin's going to, everyone wants the training now. Ramin is going to send out an email in 24 hours, within 24 hours. And Sasha, the link will be there to the webinar, to the slides, and now to the syllabus for training, so you can get some info on that. Does that sound good, everyone?
All right.
Looks like it. You're welcome. No problem, Doug. All right, Ramin, I think that's it.
Okay, thanks again, everyone, for joining us today, and we look forward to having you in a future Marketing Corner session. Have a great rest of the day, and happy 4th of July.
All righty. Talk to you later, guys. Bye-bye.